have to go with your gut. And the worst case scenario is you find it funny, no one else does. But the worst thing is turned up with something that you don't find funny and nor does anyone else.
Hey guys, it's Matt Haycox here, and today we're going to be doing one of my masterclasses with a world-class expert.
Oh, who is it?
And today we're going to be specifically talking about comedy and hidden camera comedy in particular. I've got with me the undisputed master of it, Mr. Dom Joly, and he's going to give some great tips to you guys who are trying to make comedy, who are making comedy, what you're doing wrong and what you can do better. Dom, thanks for being here, buddy.
Thank you. I don't really know. I mean, my main advice is go to the pub. And that sounds stupid, but actually it's true. And it's one of the things I really found when we were starting off doing Trigger Happy and we were trying to think of ideas, because a lot of our ideas, first you want to think about what you're going to do. There's something about an office that however cool and open you make your office, it's just a bit of a sterile environment. So I always found going somewhere and being relaxed anyway was good, and having a drink and pissing about was our first way of doing it. But actually, it's about getting out, because certainly for Trigger Happy, Sam and I ended up, we drove all the way up to Scotland. We went on a road trip just because we thought we want to go somewhere we haven't been. And all the time you're looking at stuff. So, you know, you walk past a golf course, you think, oh, golf. We haven't done anything with golf. And then you stay in a hotel and you think, oh, what can you do in a hotel? So about getting yourself out of your, because people tend to go to the same places and do the same things, and you don't really notice stuff anymore. And if you do, you've probably overthought it. But there is something extraordinary about going to new places, especially if you're with someone you can bounce off, which is how I've always done it. And so you go somewhere and then you're trying to make them laugh and go, oh my God, imagine if we did. And that's really how all of Trigger Happy was.
How important do you think having that partner to bounce off is?
I think it's pretty big, actually. I think comedy's a very lonely business. And essentially comics and people trying to be funny are show-offs. You know, you're very needy. You're trying to say, look at me, look at me. And certainly with me, the way I got all my stuff was I'm really just trying to make Sam laugh. And that's a really good thing. And then you think, oh, that worked, and you kind of remember it. I think it's really nice to have someone you can bounce stuff off. It's nice to have a support mechanism, because it is a really lonely, thankless task sometimes. And I don't know, the only other thing I think I'd say is when people say that's not funny, it just really pisses me off, because there is no such thing as not funny. Like, anything's funny. Funny is subjective. It's you don't find it funny. But the thing you've really got to do is trust your gut. And one of the most difficult things to do is not try, if you've had a success with something or you've had something that works, you try and analyze it, I think, a bit, and you start thinking, oh, that works, so I'm going to try and make my next one pander more towards that. And you can't do that. There's nothing worse than comedy by committee, or comedy that's kind of trying to please everyone. You have to go with your gut. And the worst case scenario is you find it funny, no one else does. But the worst thing is turned up with something that you don't find funny and nor does anyone else. So follow your instincts and just trust what you find is funny, because that's all you can do.
I mean, how do you know when you've got it wrong? Is that when you don't find it funny?
Well, you haven't got it wrong, have you? Because if you find it funny, then it's funny. But I mean, often, one of the things I found, certainly when I'm filming content, is about adrenaline. If you're out and you're like all excited, especially with hidden camera, because a lot of it's like you're excited and this big thing happens, and you film something and you think, oh my God, that was really funny. And we used to think, we've nailed it, it's amazing. And then you get back and you're in the office, the adrenaline's worn off, you're just sitting in the cold edit watching it, and it's like, that's a bit shit. And so you've got to actually teach yourself to know, to be sort of a good self-critic and basically think, you know what, that was exciting at the time, but it kind of, you had to be there, really. I mean, that is exactly what it is. You had to be there. And what you're trying to do is create something that just works on the cold of the screen with none of the excitement that surrounds you.
Any tips in regard to length or, you know, I guess in numbers of people?
That I can't, I mean, that, you know,
completely subjective.
That's a whole, you see, that's what's so different between my speciality, which was making a half-hour TV show, and between now trying to do content for Instagram or, you know, TikTok or whatever. I'm not even going to dare tell young people what times or what length they need to do. But all I'd say is shorter is always best. I mean, you know, keep it short, cut it, cut it, cut it. And don't fake it. I can smell when you fake, like real stuff. When you make a hidden camera thing and there's someone who doesn't know what's going on, doesn't have to be mean. It's not about being mean, but there's a tension. There's something in it which makes it awkward and funny. And when you fake it, however good you think you are, and I've seen these terrible things on Facebook where this woman and her boyfriend, she pretends to be an angry person coming up, telling him to stop parking, and he gets out and they have a scene and she throws him in the fountain. And it's actually quite well acted, but it's flat because you just know it's faked. So if you're going to fake stuff, just don't bother, write a script. Pisses me off.
Perfect. Dom, thanks a lot for that. Thanks a lot for that.
All right.
Guys, a few top tips from the master of hidden camera comedy.
That's me.